I love that song so very much. Yes, I do. I'm so excited. And this week on hashtag First TV, it feels, huh? Those who know a thing or two or three about pledge processes know that you're not supposed to say something as something that I did, not I, me, myself, and I. It's a we thing, always. Always. Okay. So, yes, the songs that me, will be presenting this week, or the topics are hashtag Mario Federal. Yeah, Mario Federal, subtitle Danger. And this is coming from apnews.com. Next, of course, every week. Uh, it is us. It's us. It's us. It's hashtag for future husband, heart, heart. Yes. And this one is subtitle credit, coming from at tonight's conversation. And we will close the week with hashtag underrated hype, TVA 13, which is waiting room, by No Doubt featuring a Prince. Oh my gosh, like this song is truly a classic from their Rocksteady album circa 2001, which is super cool. And you can find this actually at Underrated Hype TV on YouTube, should you wish. All right. And the question, randomly selected question this week, and this is all coming up this week on hashtag First TV 261, hashtag A13. Welcome. Hashtag First TV 261 A13. And the random question is, how do you unwind? You know, oh, these questions are random, so I can think about them in advance. I think a word that can work is cerebral, because I'm very in my mind so much. And as far as unwinding, things that help me being in my mind so much, I don't think the right word is introspective. Maybe it is though, but maybe pensive is also a word that works. I've heard, oh, this is way back in the day. Huh. But yes, as somebody who spends a lot of time in his own mind, I can unwind by just having my mind fantasy, think about where things are going in life in general, and just I'll say I can relax and unwind even when I might not appear to be relaxing and unwinding, because I am so in my mind. I can be present, fully present with you, and still be cool. Remember that episode of Roseanne? Roseanne was a great show. Don't even get me started. It was. So, on that episode of Roseanne, Dan, that's right, that was his name. Dan, okay. Dan was talking to, I don't remember what, I think his son-in-law. I don't remember. The only daughter whose name I remember is Darlene. And it wasn't her husband on the show, because Darlene is family, the actress is family, but it wasn't her husband. It was the older sister's husband. and they were like 80s cool, like 80s, early 90s. And Dan, I guess, in trying to speak like one of those youngsters, he was like, yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I know that's what you would say. You young people would say, it's cool. So, yes, it's cool how I can do that. Anyway, all right. And the song this week is coming from none other than 1977's We're All in This Thing Together by the OJs. And from their album Traveling at the Speed of Thought. And wow. It's so funny because even thinking about it more now that I'm talking about it, like that's a great title for an album, especially considering it's an album covering topics such as this song, where he says, we're all in this thing together. Think about it, people. We're all in this thing together. He says, how smart can a man be when he's polluting the water? Where in the world can we get more water from? And it's like, wow. And that technically it was, how smart can a man be when he's polluting precious air? Where on the earth can we get more? Oh, actually, that is it. I did it the right way the first time. Sorry, but this song is so deep, and it goes into so much. Like one of the other lines, he says, "He's of course the OJs is a group with lead singer Eddie Levert, and." One of the lines in the song, he says, black and white, red and brown. We've got to get down. Like, we need to learn that it's all just mess. Like, we are all in this thing together. It is us. I tell that to my baby all the time. It's us, because it is us. And yes, people all around, black and white, red and brown, we're all in this thing together. We've got to learn that. We've got to get down. Yes. And we've got to work it out. We've got to work it out. And I particularly... This is particularly interesting to me, being that I am now an official Ohio resident. Yes. And it is interesting because, as I said, Eddie Levert is the lead singer of the OJs. And, of course, he is the father of Gerald Levert. And it's so... that family was like really with the people, or is with the people here, because a lot, like, speaking about Gerald Levert, I have spoken, because y'all know that I have a lot of conversations with Uber drivers. I do. And I've spoken with a number of Uber drivers, and I remember one in particular. We were driving through Shaker Heights, which is the part of Ohio where the Leverts lived or actively live. It's so interesting because I looked at Gerald Levert's birth and death dates and everything, and all of that was in Ohio. I'm like, that's all right for commitment to Ohio. Yes. And I was talking with one of the Uber drivers, and as we were driving through Shaker Heights, I think a song by Gerald Levert came on or something, and I love my music. As you can tell, I love my music. And when it came up, I started talking to him about Gerald Levert, and he was totally cool and spoke with me about Gerald Levert. I can tell though that it kind of got him in his feelings, if you will, because he was like actually friends with Gerald Levert. And he was telling me about how he misses Gerald Levert and the things they used to do together as friends and all of that. And that is, yeah. And I was going to say, as far as Shaker Heights in general, one thing that I learned about Shaker Heights is that it's actually a planned community. And it's one of those planned communities for people who have a little something to a lot of something financially. And they deliberately made an effort to be racially, ethnically diverse. And I love it when cities and towns and subdivisions and whatever deliberately put in that effort. I think that's so cool. And I'm going to shout out also Columbia, Maryland, because Columbia, Maryland is one of those places that was made with that same thing in mind. We've got to get down. All of us, we're all in this thing together. And I think that's so beautiful. Now, I'll also say very quickly, Baltimore was not exactly a planned community. I shouldn't say it was not exactly a planned community, like it was just a throw together thing. No, it wasn't a subdivision with these goals in mind. But I remember when I first moved to Baltimore, I was like, it is so ethnically, racially diverse. I was like there's the Baltimore that you see on TV. And I think it's cool how Baltimoreans are like, okay, that's what you see on TV. If that's what you want to believe, whatever. I think that's cool because when you actually get there and actually interact there, it's actually a really cool place. And it is like where planned cities put in deliberate effort to become this way, Baltimore actually just is this way. And it is ethnically, racially, which are two different things, diverse, which is a beautiful thing. Oh my gosh, it's 15 minutes. All right. So, are we ready for topic A? Let's go. Like, share, subscribe, share again. And please do not forget to click like. Thank you. And we're queuing up topic A13.
Hallelujah. Love is the answer.
Hashtag Verse TV. I'm Aaron Mack.
Reset.
Hashtag Verse TV family. Hashtag Verse TV. Hashtag Verse TV family.
Reset.
A13.
Reset.